On Tuesday, I delivered my address on the State of the Union, and I had somebody behind me who was mumbling terribly, mumbling, wah, wah, ho, ha. It was very distracting. I'm speaking, and a woman is mumbling terribly behind me, angry. There was a little anger back there. We're the ones should be angry, not them. We're the ones that should be angry.
President Trump pretty fired up at a rally last night here in New Hampshire, renewing his attacks against Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The bad blood between the two on full display during that State of the Union address that he mentioned from last week.
President Trump also touting his acquittal in the Senate impeachment trial and ripping into 2020 Democrats over the chaos in Iowa. Let's bring in our headliner this morning, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Great to have you here this morning, Senator.
Glad to be with you. I got a free jacket.
Looking good. What do you think about this beautiful setup here?
It is like being in a postcard.
Yeah, it really
Democracy
is.
in action. I told Pence, stop mumbling, but he just won't listen.
Oh, got it.
I think he was talking about the Speaker.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
He's got it now. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing since you've been here on the ground? I know you landed. You went straight to the rally last night.
So I've been coming here about a dozen years. This changes things for politicians. McCain beat Bush, kept his campaign alive in 2000, won in 2008. You know, after losing Iowa, President Trump won here after losing Iowa. This is a big deal. I have never been to a rally like last night. These people are so committed to this president and his agenda. And when it comes time to vote, you know, all these confused people you heard about, those folks in that arena were not confused about who they're going to vote for. And the numbers are stunning in terms of the economy.
No doubt about it. I don't know if your ears were ringing, but Sandra and I last night were at a rally for Joe Biden, and somebody who introduced him mentioned you by name and said, Lindsey Graham once said, Joe Biden is the greatest human being he ever met.
He's a wonderful man.
So what's changed for you, though, where now you think he'd be a horrible president?
Oh, well, he's been wrong about everything. I didn't say he'd be a great president. I said he's a wonderful person. Thanks to Joe Biden, we left Iraq, and ISIS came about. He was the foreign policy advisor to the president there. He didn't want to take a shot at, bin Laden. So the bottom line is it's not about whether I like him. I like him a lot. It's about what kind of president he would be. I think if you like the Obama years, it would actually be worse. And the bottom line here is this President Trump has got a lot he can say that the other side can't refute.
And now I wonder about the momentum behind him now that impeachment is over. He went as far as to thank Nancy Pelosi for the impeachment process because it's boosting him in the polls. Here's the president.
Our good Republicans in the United States Senate voted to reject the outrageous partisan impeachment hoax and to issue a full, complete, and absolute total acquittal. We have the highest poll numbers that we have ever had. Thank you, Nancy, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, says the president.
Well, there's fatigue out there among the public. Enough already. 2 years, Mueller. I trusted him to be fair. I know the president didn't. $25 million, $30 million, a bunch of FBI agents looking at everything Trump. They found nothing. The Democratic Party can't accept that result. So they impeached this man over a phone call. They impeached him in 78 days. They used due process that you couldn't get a parking ticket if they used it against you. What's this about? He suspended aid for a short period of time that the Ukraine received ahead of schedule to leverage an investigation that never occurred. And they're going to impeach the president over there. People are tired of this never-ending effort to destroy Trump. You know why they're trying to destroy his presidency? Because they can't compete with it. They don't have an agenda that's going to make the economy better.
Isn't that what Al Green, the congressman who started pushing impeachment,
100%.
He said that we can't beat him at the polls?
You know, every now and then, these guys are amazingly honest. They're trying to destroy him as a person, his family, drive him from office because they can't compete with the results of his presidency. That's what this is all about.
What you hear time and time again is the president touting the economy. What you hear time and time again from Democrats is this is not an economy that is working for all. So in a general election matchup, who do you see putting up the biggest fight for the president? Is it going to be a Mike Bloomberg?
Yeah. But if Bloomberg's the nominee, you lose the Bernie people. the president's in a spot where he really can't lose as this plays out. Biden's going to win South Carolina. You're going to have 3 different winners in the first 3 states. On Super Tuesday, I think Bloomberg's going to make a real dent. He's going to make a real presence. You're going to go to this convention with Biden basically collapsed. Somebody's going to fill that lane. It's not going to be Amy Klobuchar. It's going to be Bloomberg. You go into that convention, and if you can't find a nomination on the first round of voting, the Democratic Party, as we know it, is going to completely implode.
They go back to superdelegates, which the Bernie people wouldn't be happy about.
And that's really not good for
two.
the country. It's going to help President Trump get reelected, but you're seeing the demise of the Democratic Party that your grandfather and grandmother knew, and we'll see how that affects
Why not
America.
Amy Klobuchar?
She just doesn't have the juice. I mean, this is socialism versus liberalism. Amy's a nice person, but at the end of the day, she's not going to be able to compete with Bloomberg. He's got just too much money.
Sandra asked you about the end of the impeachment trial, and some, even in the president's party, some of your Republican colleagues in the Senate urged him not to push some people out, like Ambassador Sondland. You've got the Vindman brothers. Well, Alex Vindman's former boss, retired Brigadier General Peter Schwach, had this statement for you for not standing up for them. I want you to respond. Here he is.
This is ridiculous, okay, to come in this way. These people are great Americans that are often put in a difficult situation. Senator Graham, I've always had a lot of respect for you. I met you when I was in Afghanistan in 2008 when you arrived with Senator McCain and Joe Lieberman as part of the Three Amigos. We thought you guys were rock stars. Where are you now, sir?
He says that this sent a chilling message to people who testified against the president.
You know what I think? I think FBI agents had a political agenda during the investigation of President Trump, and they acted on it. I think CIA operatives have been out to try to get the president since he was elected. I think there are people in uniform that can't accept this result. I appreciate Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's service, but to the general, thank you for that nice compliment. Because you wear the uniform doesn't mean you're exempt from being asked questions. Did he know the whistleblower? Was there a member of Schiff's staff that was a friend of the whistleblower? Had these guys been planning for years a way to try to take this president down? I can tell you there were operatives in the CIA, the FBI, and the Department of Justice that took the law in their own hands. And when a military officer engages in a political bias in uniform, they need to be held accountable. I don't know if that happened, but I'm not going to be deterred from asking this question. You're not going to drive me away. You tried to drive us away from looking at the FBI. You told us everything was fine with the FISA warrant. You're not going to drive me away from asking questions about the whistleblower.
All right.
If I could, final thoughts. When you sat down here, Senator, you said, don't forget foreign policy. You feel like that's being left out of the 2020 conversation right now?
I think it's President Trump's strongest card to play because the enemy is still out there. He got out of a bad deal with Iran, but here's what I worry about. What if Rocket Man has an explosion in October? What if the ISIS flag flies somewhere in Syria in October? What could Iran do to the Mideast to disrupt our election? Mr. President, keep your guard up. The enemy wants you to lose in November. Keep a strong foreign policy, run through the tape, and God help us if one of these people get to be commander-in-chief. Our country will be weak and at risk, unlike any time in my lifetime, if President Trump loses.
Senator, we could talk all day. I heard horn honking. It might be your car downstairs.
Gotta go.
I think your ride's waiting. We appreciate you coming in, sir.
Great to have you here this morning, Senator. Thank you.